Hi, I'm Vicki Montague, also known as the Free-From Fairy, and today I'm going to show you how to make my gluten and dairy-free Christmas cake. Now, if Christmas cake is something you've never made before or you think it's really complicated, then think again. Until a couple of years ago, I was exactly like you. I would never have dreamt of making a Christmas cake. But a few years ago, I decided to have a go and I realised just how easy it was. So bear with me, follow the instructions and my simple recipe that you can find on www.freefromfairy.com, and before you know it, you'll have a Christmas cake that will be the envy of all your friends and family. Okay, so I've got all my ingredients together in one place, and I'm obviously training the camera onto the bowl so that you can see what I'm doing. So in the bowl already I've got 500 grams of mixed dried fruit, 150 grams of dried apricots that I've chopped roughly, 150 grams of dried dates that I've chopped roughly, 100 grams of dried prunes, again roughly chopped, and 100 grams of glacé cherries, which again I've chopped into pieces. And then I've put on 150 millilitres of amaretto, and I basically let that soak for a couple of days now. In my recipe I say a minimum of 6 hours, but I was hoping to do this recipe a few days ago and time has made it not happen. So it's actually been soaking for a good few days, so they'll be really nice and boozy and lovely and moist, and you can imagine what the smell is like, incredible. So to that I'm going to add 125 grams of stalk, which is a dairy-free margarine that we get here in the UK. And I use the solid one because it's got no buttermilk in it. So just check, it's just a margarine basically, but a hard margarine. So I've got 120 grams of that melted, plus 125 grams of margarine and 125 grams of coconut oil. And I use the Coconut Merchant coconut oil because I just find that it's a really lovely taste. And so I'm just putting that in with my dried fruit and giving it a stir. This is just the most simple recipe. And then I'm going to add in some light brown sugar. And I need to put 150 grams of that. So again, just stir that through. And once you've got that incorporated, then we're just going to add the next ingredients, which is the zest and juice of 1 lemon and the zest and juice of 1 orange. Now I've actually used 2 clementines because I didn't have an orange. And I'm also going to put in my spices, so I've got 2 teaspoons of mixed spice, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg. So they're all going in. And then I'm going to squeeze the juice of the lemon and the clementines. You can probably see that it's looking very unctuous and delicious, and I just want to actually eat it right now, just as it is. So now we've got all the spices and juice in, the next thing is to put a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now I make mine with vodka and vanilla pods that I leave in a jar just to infuse the flavour into the vodka, and it means that you don't have any sugar in it, which is a bonus. To that I'm going to add 100 grams of ground almonds and 175 grams of my whole grain plain gluten-free flour. I've also got 2 teaspoons of ground flax seeds that I put in with the almonds. Then add half a teaspoon of baking powder. Give that a really good stir around. I want to make sure the baking powder is nicely distributed in the mixture. Ideally you would mix it into the flour or the almonds before you add it. Now the final thing to add in are 6 lightly beaten free-range medium eggs. And then give it all a stir. So that's ready to put into the cake tin, and it bakes on a low heat for 2 hours. So there you have it, a really simple gluten and dairy-free Christmas cake that your friends will all love. If you'd like the full recipe, please visit my website, which is www.freefromfairy.com, and visit amazon.co.uk to find the whole grain gluten-free flour that I use, which is the Free From Fairy gluten-free flour. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and tell your friends, and of course have a really happy Christmas.